Hey there, the holiday market is upon us. What does that mean for you as a buyer or seller? Well, I'm going to tell you real quick here. This is Dean Odell with Seven Gables Real Estate and the Odell Group. Today is November 13th, and we're going to take a look at the data and the charts and see how things are changing right now in Orange County. So let's get started with that right now. Okay, so looking at the active listing inventory year over year, today we have 4,103 homes on the market in Orange County. That is down from 2 weeks ago, down quite a bit if you look, right? But this is the time of year we're following that red line. And if you compare it with all the other previous years, you will see that this is the time where our inventory really starts to go down, right? Last year, we only had 3,516 homes. So we still have 600 more homes practically than we did last year, still below that 3-year average prior to COVID of 5,822. So let's take a look at the next slide. Looking at demand year over year, we look at the last 30 days and what do we see? 1,487 homes were sold over the last 30 days. 2 weeks ago, we were at 1,546 when we looked 30 days back. And last year we were at 1,458. So actually slightly up from last year, but still below that 3-year average of 2,139, which was prior to COVID, right? So again, we're following that red line. You can see how it compares to previous years. You can see how it's going to continue to drop. So talking about how things drop, let's take a look at the next slide. Okay, so as some of you recall, we said that we were going into the holiday market. And the holiday market starts in mid-November and it goes through to the new year. And you can see how the inventory has dropped every single year. Starting in 2022 at the bottom, if you look and you work your way up, you'll see that the inventory dropped anywhere between 29 to 32%. If you look at what happened in the next column for the demand drop, it dropped anywhere from 25 to 35%. And if you look at what happened to the expected marketing time, it dropped anywhere from, it sped up once by 5 days and then it slowed down by 4 days, right? So you just never know. Homes pulled off the market. You look at 2022 and we had 1,356 homes that were being pulled off the market back then during this time of year. Last year, it was only 1,170. We're going to see the lowest it's been is 801 in 2003. So we're going to see how this stacks up. But if it's normal, it should drop anywhere between, right, 28 to 32%. So let's just say we got about 4,000 homes on the market. We should lose at least 1,000 of those, right? At least. So maybe more, maybe 1,400. We'll see. We should start out the market, it looks like, with somewhere between, 2,500 to 2,800 homes. If this is correct, if we follow the pattern. So let's go to the next slide. So looking at the expected marketing time, again, we're following that red line. You can see we're at 83 days. 2 weeks ago, it was the same. Last year, it was 72. And prior to COVID, those 3 years, it was 85. So we're really starting to normalize our pattern here, right? And if we look at where does that fall in the legend up there, you'll see anything between 60 to 90 days is considered a slight seller's market. But we always want to look at that by price range. We do know that overall, our demand and supply have equally fallen by about 4% over the last few weeks. So that means our expected marketing time is staying consistent at that 83 days. But again, we want to see how that breaks down by price range, which brings us to the next slide. Okay, well, this next slide is very interesting because what we're seeing here is that in certain price ranges, it's really heated up, like that 750 to 1,250,000. It's gone back to a hot seller's market, which we haven't had in some time. Now, we had it last year, but if we look back at the Tustin Talks over the last couple of months, we haven't had a hot seller's market for a while in any of the price ranges. So to see that pop out between 750 and 1,250,000 is kind of interesting. And then to only see a slight seller's market between 0 and 750, what that tells me is that that's that first time entry buyer market. That's a really hard market for people to get into. And it's certainly affected by interest rates and down payment and everything else. where that 750 to 1,250,000, a lot of times they might be selling a condo to get to a house. They've already had another property, right? Then you go beyond that, you look at 1,250,000 to 2 million, you can see that that is also a slight seller's market, because now, again, people are trying to roll equity or come up with a big down payment. It's not that easy, but it's still in that price range. It's tilting towards sellers because we have had rates fall almost a full percent or more now over the course of this year. So, people's purchasing power has definitely picked up. We're seeing a balanced market between 2 million and 2.5, which that seems a little surprising. Usually the higher price ranges are moving slower and slower. But because rates are going down, we're seeing that balance. Look at the current inventory, 7%, and the current demand, 6%. Then we go into a slight buyer's market between 2.5 to 4 million. I mean, this is one of the craziest charts we've had in a while, you guys. I mean, normally these things are grouping together. I'm like looking at these numbers, having to check and say, is this right? But you know what? They are right. They are right. These numbers, kind of interesting. You got a slight buyer's market between 2.5 to $6 million. Now, that just means that the sellers are a little bit at a disadvantage there, right? The inventory is a little high for the demand. And you can see that in the numbers as you look across the columns. The deep buyer's market is anything over $6 million. And you can see in that last column, that's kind of what things were moving at last year, the expected marketing time, versus our second column, which shows the marketing time today. So you can see it's substantially slowed down in some of these price ranges. Overall, still a healthy market, still a good market, still not enough inventory out there to make prices go backwards with the demand. Everything is kind of falling in sync. When inventory falls, then you got demand that falls. So when inventory goes up, then demand goes up. So everything's kind of staying the same. As I promised you guys last week, things are going to get a little bit different because we're in a different format now. We've got Jake, our new editor. Good luck, Jake, editing this. That's going to try to put together a good show for you guys. And by the way, I'm broadcasting with COVID today. So I'm not feeling real well. I'm not real sharp. Hopefully this comes off okay. My advice for both buyers and sellers right now is that the market is still healthy. It's still good. It's not what the buyers want, which is they want a crashing market with prices going down. That is not happening. You can see the supply and demand figures. It's just not happening. Okay, then you have the sellers who want things to be like they were last year or 2 years ago with prices going up, and that's not happening either, you guys. We're getting more of a balanced market, sometimes a slight buyers, sometimes a slight sellers market, but nothing that's really fully tilted to the sellers except for those price ranges that I showed. So here's the thing. It's going into the holidays. Are there good buyers out there? Yes. This is a good time, sellers, to think about taking even a contingent offer, because a lot of you guys don't want to be listed over the holidays. And this goes for both of you guys, sellers and buyers. There may be a way to put a deal together here on something that you just need more time on. Maybe you have to sell a house first, and the seller will give you that time during this holiday season. Whereas in a spring-summer market, you're not going to get that time. So talk to your agent, talk to us. We'd love to help you guys find a place. If there's something that you've seen that's sold in the past, we're probably aware of it. We understand what happened in that sale a lot of times. Give us a call. Let's talk about it. We'll tell you what we can do for you. And sellers, you just go to our website, look at the way our listings look. We know how to prep them. We know how to get everything done for you guys so that you can get the most you can get with the least amount of hassles. All right. So hopefully I will see you in 2 weeks, and I'm sure I'll be healthy by then. And maybe Jake will have this thing down if he doesn't master it on his first one. All right. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.